On April 8, 9th and 10th of the year 1904, English magus Aleister Crowley received a communication from a praetor human intelligence calling itself I was or I was, pronounced I was. This being announced to Crowley that it was the minister of the Egyptian god Horus, an aspect of the Egyptian sun god Horus. I was revealed that Crowley was to be the prophet of a new eon or era for mankind, the eon of Horus. I was proceeded to dictate to Crowley 3 chapters of a book later to be called the Book of the Law. This book discloses the pattern of a coming age, a 2,000-year reign. A time of force, fire, and blood. Of unparalleled freedoms and rampant chaos, a time not unlike our present age. The philosophy of this book came to be known as the Law of Thelema. Thelema is a Greek word meaning will, and the true will is at the center of Crowley's occult philosophy. According to Crowley, this planet has already been through 2 previous ages of approximately 2,000 years each. His reception of the Book of the Law marked the dawning of the 3rd eon. The first of these 2 preceding ages was called the eon of the Egyptian goddess Isis. The eon of Isis represented a matriarchal, earthbound age. Isis era can be seen in the cultures of ancient Greece and Rome. This was followed by the eon of Osiris, a patriarchal age that worshipped various gods in the form of the sun as a dying and resurrected deity. The beliefs of Christianity represent the culmination of this second age. I was appeared to Crowley in order to announce the birth of the new eon, the offspring of Isis and Osiris, Horus. As explained by Crowley, the eon of Horus is an epoch in which the inhabitants of Earth know that the sun does not die at night, pass through the underworld only to be reborn at dawn. Instead it is seen as a great, fiery star that seemingly burns eternally as our individual spirits live eternally as well. The age of Horus was laid forth in the Book of the Law, it being the cornerstone of the philosophy of Aleister Crowley, and its writing/creation was the event in his life which Crowley himself believed to be the most momentous occasion thereof, and one which he himself was merely the instrument in. The book proclaimed the dawning of the new eon, or period of 2,000 year ruled over by an elemental deity, the age of Horus, and outlined the law of Thelema, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. The age of Horus marks the beginning of the new AEO proclaimed by Aleister Crowley, which dawned April of 1904 when the Book of the Law was transcribed. Its principal definition comes from the belief of the rulership of 3 gods whose influences have a determining force on the fate of the world throughout their reign over the earth. First Isis, whose reign was categorized as matriarchal, nurturing. Next was her husband Osiris, whose influence was categorized as patriarchal, destructive, and of turmoil, hence it was during this period of time in which the medieval Dark Ages took place. Next in line is Horus, the child of Isis and Osiris. This is the age of Horus, the age we live in today. As Horus as ruler is but a child, the beginning of his reign, i.e. the early 20th century, is categorized as firstly chaotic, giving birth to new ways of thinking, and it was this childlike idealism which gave birth to such radical early movements of this era such as fascism, communism, and crazes of all sorts which obsesses mankind. The principle of this being that throughout his age we will witness the child maturing and thus the stability of the world solidifying into more harmonious new ways of thought. Remember that Crowley wrote the following description of the regime under Horus in 1904. He said, "Everywhere his government is taking root. Observe for yourselves the decay of the sense of sin, the growth of innocence and irresponsibility, the strange modifications of the reproductive instinct with a tendency to become bisexual or epicene, the childlike confidence in progress combined with a nightmare fear of catastrophe, against which we are yet half unwilling to take precautions. Consider the outcrop of dictatorships, only possible when moral growth is in its earliest stages, and the prevalence of infantile cults like communism, fascism, pacifism, health crazes, occultism in nearly all its forms, religions sentimentalized to a point of practical extinction. Consider the popularity of the cinema, the wireless, the football pools and guessing competitions, all devices for soothing fractious infants, no seed of purpose in them. Consider sport, the babyish enthusiasms and rages which it excites, whole nations disturbed by disputes between boys. Consider war, the atrocities which occur daily and leave us unmoved and hardly worried. We are children.